in the room are parents. Good. And what we really want to stress is that this is for everyone. It's regardless whether you have a student in Ironwood schools, or you used to have a student in the Ironwood schools, or you have grandkids in the school district, or you're just a community person with no kids, or your kids live elsewhere, or whatever. It really is everyone's responsibility, and we'll talk about that a little bit. But today we have higher buildings and wider highways, but shorter temperaments and narrower points of view. We spend more, but enjoy less. We have bigger houses, but smaller families. We have more compromises, but less time. We have more knowledge, but less good judgment. We have more medicines, but less good health. We have multiplied our possessions, but reduced our values. We talk much, we love only a little, and we hate too much. We reached the moon and came back, but we find it troublesome to cross our own street and meet our neighbors. We have higher incomes, but less morals, and these are times with more liberty, but less joy. These are just a couple of the reasons that I'm a strong proponent of character education, and that I truly believe that we need it. You know, you only need to turn on the evening news. That's what I was doing before I came, when I left the school and went back to the hotel. Before I came up here, I flipped on the evening news, and I was going to take note and share with you all the things that I saw on that newscast that our kids are probably seeing, or did see, or will see at some point. That first of all, they had no business viewing. They shouldn't even be viewing some of the very violent, graphic things that they do on the news today. But they do, and that's progress, I guess. But I didn't see that as I was growing up, and I see that some of you in this audience are around my age, so we do come from different generations, and things do change, but I'm not sure that it's progress when those things happen. There are many statistics and national research that's been done over the years about the goals and the results that a community and a school district and parents and individual people can achieve and will achieve if you decide to integrate character into every single thing you do as a school district and as a community. And I will share some of those with you, and then I'll share some of the things that we have embraced in Jefferson. I want to read you one other little thing, and then I'm not going to steal anybody else's material. Everything I'll be talking about will be things that I like. But, you know, our school system started in the 1640s. And the Massachusetts Puritans established schools. They were mostly for boys, but they really wanted to teach basic reading, some arithmetic, and some math skills to their young people. So they did that for many years, and then at the beginning of the 20th century, society began to add and assign additional duties to the schools. So I'm just going to go through from 1900 to today what the responsibility of the schools have been. So in 1900 to 1910, we added, these are all school responsibilities now: nutrition, immunization, and health to the list of school responsibilities. From 1910 to 1930, we added physical education, including organized athletics, the practical arts, vocational education, home economics, and then school transportation began to be mandated. That was from 1910 to 1930. In the 1940s, we added business education, art and music, speech and drama, half-day kindergarten, and school lunch programs appeared. So now the school district and the school community are responsible for one of the 3 meals that our children, school children, are having during the day. In the 1950s, we added expanded science and math education, safety education, driver's education, expanded music and art education, foreign language requirements were strengthened, and sex education was introduced. In the 1960s, we added advanced placement programs, Head Start, Title I, adult education, consumer education, career education, peace, leisure, and recreation education. In the 1970s, we added special education, and that was mandated by the federal government. We added Title IX programs, which expands athletics and other things to include female students. We added drug and alcohol abuse education, parent education, behavioral adjustment classes, character education, environmental education, women's studies, and now school breakfast programs were added by some school districts. So now we're responsible for feeding our children breakfast and lunch And sometimes, and sadly, those are the only decent meals that some students receive during the day at all, probably more in the urban areas than we see in the Midwest, I hope I can say that. In the 1980s, we added keyboarding and computer education, global education, ethnic education, English as a second language, bilingual education, teen pregnancy awareness, Hispanic education, early childhood, Jump Start, Early Start, Even Start, and Prime Start. We also added in the 1980s full-day kindergarten. We had preschool programs for children at risk, after-school programs for children of working parents, alternative education in all of its forms, stranger danger education, anti-smoking education, sexual abuse prevention education, health and psychological services were expanding, and child abuse monitoring became a legal requirement for anyone working in the public schools. In the 1990s, we added conflict resolution and peer mediation, HIV and AIDS education, CPR training, death education. We've had a huge expanded computer and internet education, tech prep and school to work programs, gang education in the urban areas, mostly bus safety, bicycle safety, gun safety, and water safety education. And for the most part, our kids have gone to school, and the schools have been responsible for having them there from about 8 o'clock in the morning until 3-ish in the afternoon. So you can see how the responsibilities of schools have dramatically increased since we started all this in the 1600s, but really when they started tracking all this since the 1900s. So my message, and the reason that I'm sharing all of this with you, is that school districts absolutely cannot do it alone. We need your help. We need the help of every single person that lives in the Ironwood Area School District and beyond, but basically I feel that it is every person that lives on all these streets that I get lost on still after coming here all this time, but I am getting around better. That every single house I go by, I don't care who lives in that home, whether or not they have children in school, whether they're 19 years old or 89 years old, it is their responsibility. Every child that leaves that high school on graduation day, they should feel ownership for. They should feel a dramatic responsibility for those children. And if they don't, then we've really done our job in the PR and marketing realm in our school districts and not making sure that that happens. So that's one reason that I like character education, is that there's definitely a community component, and school districts that utilize that, the program, the initiative works better, you see better results, and it's what we all want for our kids. I mean, we all want what's best. We all want kids to be educated. We want them to be smart. And as I told your school board members last night, when the Ironwood schools and community have test scores and grades and academics and the kind of students that you're developing that are leaving your schools who are kind, who are good citizens, who can get along with people when they leave, whether they're going to college or work, who are honest and who have integrity. When those two things are on an equal level in Ironwood, then you've done character education and you've done it right. And when that happens, grades are going to soar, disruptions and behavioral referrals are going to diminish greatly, if not go away, and you're going to have a much happier teaching staff, and you're going to be happier in your community because there's not going to be crime, and you're not going to have to worry about locking your doors and all the things that we now have to worry about even in small towns.